Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Kendall Rodriguez here, and today we are going to be talking about 5 tips to help you become a better videographer. I want you all to be better shooters, to shoot better video. So let's get right into it. Now, these tips are from my experience. If I'm making some of these mistakes while I'm working, I can guarantee you that there are some of you out there that are making the same mistakes as well. So I'm going to kind of preface this by saying, like, yes, everything that I am talking about, these are things that I have done and that I have corrected. Number 1, monitor your audio. Always have a set of headphones to monitor your audio. Yes, you can monitor your levels, you can see where everything's peaking, but you really do not get a good sense as to how your audio is going to come out when you are shooting. It's probably the most critical part. It likely is, and it is definitely the most critical part of any sort of video or filmmaking project that you have going on, especially if you're shooting solo. So a lot of DSLRs, a lot of mirrorless cameras, they come with a headphone jack port. So use that port to your advantage. You can plug them in and just make sure that you're able to hear everything clearly. Keep an eye out for static. Keep an eye out for dropouts when the signal drops out, especially if you're using wireless mics. Yeah, sometimes those things don't really work that well. I mean, you know, there are times where equipment will fail and you might have static on the line, right? You can be using an XLR, it may not be plugged in correctly. Check your levels to make sure that you're getting something, and so that your project in the end doesn't come out like trash. All right, we don't want you to have trashy assignments and trashy final work, and you don't want to have to do twice the work. So it's going to help you troubleshoot a lot better in the field also. All right, so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to roll on everything. Record everything. That's why you are there. You're not there to roll and then just cut. I mean, if you are interviewing someone, if you are capturing B-roll of something that's very, very significant to your project, make sure you roll on everything, because it helps to create a little bit more for whatever story that you're trying to tell, because we're in this game to be storytellers. That's why we have these tools, right? So make sure that you roll on everything, because you never know. You may get a great soundbite in the beginning and you may catch one in the end. So you never know. That's tip number 2. All right, so we're going to get into tip number 3. Dial in those settings, man. Come on, and ladies, dial in those settings. And the worst thing you can do is to kind of shift your exposure during a clip, right? That's like the worst thing that you can possibly do, because to see that shift in exposure, I mean, you know, to an editor, it's just frustrating, because now you have to, you know, kind of color correct and drop exposure along the way while you're doing the edit, and it just kind of doesn't, you know, keep the piece very consistent. So just make sure that you dial everything in before you hit record. You know, dial in your gain or your ISO, dial in your T-stops or f-stops on your mirrorless or DSLR cameras or on your cinema lenses. But if you can avoid it, dial everything in beforehand, because, you know, it just shows that you're an amateur and not a professional. All right. And that's tip number 3. All right, so tip number 4 is to hold your shot. Now, the thing is that I want you guys to kind of get in the practice of holding your shot after someone's speaking. It makes it a lot easier for when you have to go back in for an edit, or for the editor who's editing your project, to kind of do a nice easy cut after the person finishes speaking, because having those jarring cuts sometimes just kind of looks very, also, and I hate to use this word sometimes, it doesn't look very professional, and it makes it a lot harder for the editor to make a nice clean cut in the edit. All right, so be aware of that when you're shooting. Tip number 5 to conclude this video is use a tripod. Can't stress enough, I know a lot of us are doing this whole handheld thing, and it's great. I love shooting handheld too, but there are some situations that you're going to actually need to use a tripod, like for instance an interview. So if you're not the C or B camera person, use a tripod, or use a monopod or something like that. Especially if you're gathering B-roll. Like if you can use it, I mean, though it might seem to be like a pain in the neck to drag a tripod everywhere, but if you're going to shoot video and you want it to look really good, if you're gathering B-roll, put it on a pair of sticks. Sticks are tripods. Okay, we call them sticks out here. So just make sure that you use one, and trust me on this. If you guys are out there just walking around, just, you know, using the stabilizer in your camera or lens, right, or your sensor, it's gonna come out looking wobbly. IBIS sometimes just it kind of fails you, and it makes you look like an amateur. So try your best when you're shooting to use a tripod if you can. All right, it'll make your footage look 100 times more professional. And that is tip number 5. All right, guys, these are my 5 pro tips to shooting better video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you found it informative. If you did, please leave a comment down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to get notified the next time I drop a video. And this is your boy K-Rod, and I'm out. I'll talk to you later. Peace.